everybody. It is Thursday. How we doing tonight? Who is with? Jennifer's in first tonight. I may need phone. I may. How we doing tonight, Jennifer? Great to have you with us. Who else is joining us tonight? I got a bunch of people in. Adele and Dazzle are with us. Great to have you here. Karen, great to have you. Edwin. Good to have you with us, Edwin. Who else is joining us tonight? We got to have a fast-moving show tonight. How's everybody doing on their Thursday? What are we grateful for this Thursday? Is there more comments than Edwin? That's the last comment I see. Just checking our new setup here, see if Facebook's cooperating with me tonight, and see if it's really showing me all my comments. So my backup viewer is working on that right now. There, Suzanne and MJ are joining us. Hey Scott, good to have you with us. Hey, that works right there. I can see that. And take this stuff away. Thanks, Adele. I'm glad you liked it. I'm told that yeah, Edwin, I'm not betting on the governor yet, but I hope so. I hope that Charlie lets us open next week. I was on with Secretary Keneally yesterday, and I'm not betting on it. But I would like to be surprised. Hey, Nebraska Angie, great to have you with us. We are certainly getting ready for it. We have a lot of staff that is very anxious about it. They have anxiety anyway, some of them. So but we are doing everything we can to be as ready for it as possible. Yes, fingers crossed. Absolutely, that is the way we want to go with that. What is everybody grateful for this Thursday evening? Hey, Alexa, great to have you with us. Great to have you with us tonight, Alexa. What are we all grateful for? Hey, Stephanie, great to have you with us in Iowa. Nebraska Strawhog, Sarah's with us. Asheville Angie's joined us now. Asheville Angie is in the house. Great to have you all with us. Tell me about it, folks. What are we grateful for? Oops, where did I put my glasses down? Did I leave my glasses over there? You don't see them? Oh, I found them. I'm not used to this new set, folks. A thriving business. I love hearing that, Angie. That is a great thing to be grateful for, Asheville Angie. Love hearing that. Love it, love it, love it. What is everybody else grateful for tonight? Tell me about it. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. My team does a great job of making me look good. Hey, that's a step in the right direction, Adele. 25% occupancy is a step in the right direction. I could go with that. That's really good, Alexa, that your police, the Mayberry police came in and did that today. Oh, that's great, Tricia, that Loyal Shops you were able to get so much. Gary and his team are awesome. Great sales at Ricochet today. Great sales in Augusta. Sales are strong in Texas. Texas strong. That is awesome. Awesome. I love hearing that all these great things with sales. That is encouraging. I am certainly hopeful for that. Your beach is open this weekend. Russell's grateful that so many of his clients are doing so well after reopening. It is very encouraging to hear how people are doing in the reopening. So that is very encouraging. It is encouraging for all, and I know it'll help. My team that's feeling anxious right now. I know everybody gets over that once they're open. So it's just getting over that initial hump. With people, so I think we just need to do it and pull the Band-Aid off of it, and we'll be okay. We're doing all that we can to be as safe as we can. The virus is still out there; that it's real, but everybody just needs to be as safe as they can be in doing this. But we still need to do commerce. So and people want to get out and people want to shop. So let's get to it. I got to keep on a tight schedule here tonight because of when I am next live on QVC. So I've got a lot to cover. So I'm going to get started here tonight with our Good Morning Good Night book. The Good Morning Good Night book is how we start the program every night. And let's open it up and see what we got. Have a good morning. No pressure though. That is our good morning today. I love the graphics. Wait until you see the graphics at the end. You got to stay to the end to see the graphics. We got so much to cover here tonight. I love this quote today. We achieve more when we chase the dream instead of the competition. Boom. I like that. Hey, Kitty, happy Thursday. Great to have you in with us tonight. It must be me being on time tonight, not you being late. Levi says, everybody has a new size as shoppers returned to stores during the coronavirus pandemic. As retailers slowly reopen and shoppers return to stores, everybody has a new size. Mark Rosen, Executive Vice President and President of Levi's Americas Division, said in a Wednesday interview. Levi's, as of last week, had about 35% of its stores in the U.S. back open, with queues of people forming outside. Some have joked that the freshman 15 is now the quarantine 15, as living on lockdown encourages some to snack more on bread and baked goods and work out less. Levi's is certainly seeing that may be the case. As retailers reopen, shoppers return to stores, everybody has a new size. And they have an intent to buy. Unlike other retailers that have opted to keep their fitting rooms closed as they reopen, at least for now, Levi's is leaving every other dressing room open for use and is cleaning each space after it's used. The company is also holding merchandise that is tried on and not purchased for 24 hours and holding return goods for 72 before putting them back on the floor. If consumers are indeed changing sizes, either sizing up or down, that could mean good news for apparel companies coming out of this crisis. Closets will need to be replenished. Apparel retailers American Eagle and Abercrombie & Fitch have said sales in reopened stores are hitting 95% and 80% respectively compared with normal levels. So that is good news. Yeah, and that's exactly what my next point was. American Eagle is seeing more than our fair share of pent-up demand as stores reopen. Their shares have soared. Manager said that as stores reopen, during sales are an impressive metric of roughly 95% of their normal levels. And American Eagle is preparing for a strong back-to-school season. I would love a strong back-to-school season. We had a lot of stimulus. Competitors had closed. It certainly we're the strongest store in the mall, and our customers are continuing to come to us. American Eagle shares were initially falling after earning results were released, but after people actually listened to what he had to say, they shot up at 15% in trading. Hey, Barb, grateful to see you tonight. April's 11.2% drop in industrial production, a metric the Federal Reserve has tracked since 1919, is the biggest monthly decline on record. Furthermore, consumer spending in April fell 13.6%, the biggest decline ever recorded since records were kept back to 1959. Record layoffs have continued, with the number of first-time claims for unemployment insurance topping 40 million over a 10-week period. Put another way, nearly 1 in 4 Americans have experienced job loss. But here's the good news. If there's any good news, it is that the number of first-time filings has been declining, and the number of individuals who file on a regular basis in order to receive jobless benefits is about half the number of first-time filings. That's huge. That would suggest that the Paycheck Protection loans are kicking in and reopenings are encouraging businesses to recall furloughed workers. Still, May's employment report will show another rise in the jobless benefit. Google sent me a stat today that I have traveled 22% around the world this year in what they have tracked me and my phone traveling around. I thought that was an interesting stat, and I thought it was actually low. But 22%. Sales, Scott, is what they're hitting. And yes, they are giving the stores away. Hey, Karen. But they got to move this dead inventory, and they've got more on the way. Walmart is temporarily removing guns and ammunition from their display cases amid protests. From the sales floor of some stores as protests continue across the nation. Which is kind of interesting because there's been pressure on them to remove firearms for a long time. So I found that kind of interesting. Wall Street's warning to corporate America: get cash while you can. Bankers have a message from America's debt-laden companies: raise money now because things could get a lot worse. The gradual reopening of businesses after months-long shutdowns and a pickup in manufacturing activity have given investors a reason for optimism. But underwriters who cater to heavily indebted companies are offering their clients a bleak preview of what may lie ahead. The long list of worries include a new wave of coronavirus contagion in the fall and an extended period of double-digit unemployment, a spike in defaults, and slower than expected economic recovery as businesses around the globe adapt to the realities of prolonged social distancing. Of course, pitching bond sales to companies is part of the job description. And corporate treasurers expect nothing less from bankers. The bankers' warnings to clients underscores, though, the visible stampede for cash across corporate America. Okay? And this is what I've also been talking about all the way through this, is cash is king. So even as we come out of this, hanging on to cash as much as you can is so important. Okay? That is the core thing in this, especially with so much unknown and so much of the economic future unknown. This isn't like past dips or past things. It is about the difference is very real in this, and so we don't understand it. And anybody that claims to doesn't. But what I do understand is hanging on to cash as we come out of this. And quite honestly, all the way through this. Our buddy Mitch McConnell has said there are no plans, Russell, so pay attention here, Russell. McConnell has said there are no plans to do a stimulus bill before the July 3rd 2-week recess, which means that there will be no bills again until late July, because that puts us after July 20th. The administration and lawmakers are under pressure to boost the economy, but they are not planning any additional bills until late July at the earliest. So keep that in mind as things. And then that, again, puts us much, much closer into election season. And I've said really nothing after September. So maybe we'll get one more bill, and it won't focus on a lot of things that are affecting our world. It's going to affect, they're going to be looking at things for cities and towns and other sectors, is the current reports. Simon Property Group, the big mall owner, is taking Gap to court over unpaid rent. Simon Property Group on Tuesday sued Gap over more than $65.9 million in unpaid rent and other charges. More than 400 Gap stores are found at Simon Properties, according to the report. In April, Gap disclosed that it stopped paying rent on temporarily shuttered store, garnering monthly savings of $115 million per month in North America alone. The retailer also said it's negotiating with landlords on lease terms, including rent, but may close some stores permanently. In May, Simon Property Group CEO took a hard line over the issue, telling analysts that while the company has worked with some tenants to defer rent, they are obligated to pay unless they're in bankruptcy. Neither Simon or Gap immediately responded to comment. Hey, Gwen, how are you? Hey, I'm with you, Russ, and Azure's expecting a lot of home improvement projects done before she gets back from Michigan. I'm just saying. So you better hustle. Delta is capping in-flight seating capacity at 60% and blocking middle seat access until the end of September. Sounds like a good time to fly. Although overall passenger numbers have plummeted in recent months, passengers have been startled to find some flights on United American Airlines completely full, with social distancing increasingly difficult to maintain. The debate has continued to percolate around whether flying during the pandemic is safe and responsible. With airlines such as Qatar Airlines asking crews to wear full body suits. Service at 75 domestic airports across the country will be dropped by 15 airlines due to low passenger demand tied to the pandemic. However, each of the airports will continue to be served by at least one airline. Like we didn't see this coming. OSHA issues its first COVID-19 related citation. Granted, it was to a nursing home in Georgia. Has received the first citation issued by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. The citation alleges 6 nursing home employees were hospitalized as a result of COVID-19 that was contracted while at work. And the nursing home, this is what they were cited for, that they failed to report the hospitalizations to OSHA within the statutorily mandated time period. And that is the issue, and they are going for a $6,500 fine against that nursing home, which is, in the whole scheme of things, rather small. But it is a fine, and it is of things to come. So it's the mandate to report is the issue. If you want to change the world, start with yourself. How about that? I like that as a quote. And that was... Hang on a second, wasn't that Gandhi? Who said that? Yes, Gandhi. That was a quote from Gandhi. Businesses, and I think we've talked about this a little, but here's the legal opinion. Businesses that mandate masks for employees and customers need to consider ADA issues. The American Disabilities Act... According to psychologists, a mask mandate may result in unintended consequences because people naturally rebel when they're told what to do, even if the measures could protect them. But the legal issues, the EEOC recently re-released guidance originally implemented during the H1N1 pandemic, which states that employers may require employees to wear personal protective equipment such as gloves and masks during a pandemic. However, an employee with a disability requests a reasonable accommodation under the ADA, the employer must still provide one. So that is the key. Under the ADA, you must still provide an accommodation if asked. So now, let's skip into, because I am running out of time, finish early tonight. They get me into ready mode tonight. Hey, the peanut gallery is handy too, Pat. Who knew? Who knew? I've had my handy people working at the house all day. Val has been here doing all sorts of crazy stuff. She's amazing, the work that she does. I am not handy. I am not handy. Okay, so the Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act. Is that what we want to talk about? So what does the Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act actually do for those of you that got the PPP? So let me start with, if you haven't gotten a PPP, now is the time to get it. The one thing that does not change is you have to get, your PPP has to be issued before June 30th, okay? So you have to get your PPP before June 30th. The first thing is the extension of the loan utilization period. Okay, so originally the PPP required borrowers to spend the amounts with 8 weeks. The new legislation changes the covered week to 8 weeks, from 8 weeks to the earlier of 24 weeks after loan origination or December 31st, 2020, whichever is earlier. Nothing prevents you as a PPP borrower from spending all of its loan proceeds and requesting forgiveness prior to the end of its covered period. That is an important part. So those of you that have been working hard on the 8-week forgiveness time frame, you're fine. You can still request forgiveness after the 8 weeks. You still can do that. Okay? But you have up to 24 weeks or December 31st, 2020, whichever is earlier, from your loan origination date. Okay? Your payroll cost spend requirement. This is big, okay, in multiple ways. Okay? First, it changed the spend requirement to allow you to only have to spend 60% on payroll and 40% on other things. But it also changed the language. Okay, so here is a very important language clarification. Okay, you must spend at least 60%, and I'm going to say 65, just again, the same thing I've done before where I've been saying 80 all along. Okay, that 5% buffer is an important thing so that there's no math errors here. Okay, but you have to spend at least that on payroll or none of the loan gets forgiven. Okay, so if you don't spend at least that on payroll, none of the loan gets forgiven. Okay, so if you only spent 50% on payroll and wanted to get that 50% part forgiven because you spent that on payroll, that's not enough. You have to spend at least 60%, or what I'm advising people, 65% on payroll to get this forgiven. Okay, because of the longer time frame, that shouldn't be a big deal for almost everyone that I have talked to. Okay, I can't think of anybody that this is going to be a problem for, but that I have worked with already. But you need to spend that on payroll. Okay, that is huge. Then you can spend the other 35% on other covered expenses, as was defined before, rent and utilities. The forgiveness reduction based on full-time equivalent employees. This is an interesting one because basically under the Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act, it extends your rehire deadline to December 31st. It also eliminates the forgiveness reduction test if the borrower meets one of the following conditions. The borrower is unable to rehire a terminated employee, and the borrower is unable to hire a similarly qualified employee, or the borrower is unable to return to business activity to a level commensurate with the business's activity level as of February 15th, 2020. Okay? Or as a result of guidance issued as a result of being closed. Yes, the banks will get all the updated. They'll be getting things next week, Kelly, on this. But they won't be ready to handle it, so don't worry about it. You know, don't show up on your bank on June 17th asking for forgiveness. They're not going to be ready. So if you weren't able to resume business activity, okay, to a level prior, okay, you're also off of the FTE requirement. But it does not eliminate the spend on payroll. You still have to spend this money on payroll. So if you're spending the money on payroll, you're in almost every case you're going to end up being forgiven. Okay, that is the real key here. But you have to spend the money on payroll. I intend on spending almost all of it on payroll, you know, especially with the length and time. It just makes the whole thing easier. Now, Number 4, our payroll tax deferral. Now this is an interesting one. This is about cash flow, and cash is king. So under the PPP, you couldn't also exercise the payroll tax deferral, but now with this new law, you can. And what that means is that the Social Security payroll tax obligations, you can defer paying that and pay half of it in 2021 and half of it in 2022 for the year 2020. It doesn't change that you have to pay it, okay? But it's about cash flow and hanging on to cash. So it is an option, but be careful in playing with taxes, okay? Because the one government administration that works on time is the tax man. So it is a dangerous area to play with, but it is something that allows for play with it. So you do have flexibility with that, and you do have the ability to work with that. So that is certainly an option for you under the law to defer that payment. So those are the key provisions in it, in the extension, so you have more time, okay? But it is required that it is mandated now that to get any forgiveness, you have to spend at least 60% on payroll. Okay, this is not go crazy. This is not spinach dip money. Although we have spinach dip here tonight, we have extra spinach dip in the house. We didn't use PPP money for it, but spinach dip. This is for payroll. Okay, people, and if you use it for that, almost everyone in this business that I have worked with should be able to get this loan forgiven. There's just no reason not to under the new terms. This makes it much easier, okay, especially as we reopen. So I'm really super excited for that. Very, very excited for that, and what that offers businesses. So that is huge, absolutely huge, in what that is offering. So that is the biggest issue of the day, and it is a huge one. Expect no stimulus from the government again. Next bill, late July at the earliest, if then. So those are the key issues for the day in this rapid fire live with Neil tonight. Don't forget, if you have not read the NARTS newsletter, pick that up. That has got so many great articles in it. So many great articles are in the NARTS newsletter there for you in this much. Yes, Kitty, there will be new guidance on forgiving. They're going to redo all those forms. I don't know that they'll be out as fast as next week, but as soon as they are out, I will have them for you, and I will be stepping everybody through it. Now will be the time that it actually makes sense to plan some time to go through it line by line, because it still will be an overly complicated government form, but there will be new forms coming out. But yes, so if you haven't read the NARTS newsletter, make sure you read the NARTS June newsletter, including about Resale Reunites, our virtual conference coming up this August. Registration opening any time now. It'll be ready soon. I know it will. Okay, and registration only $199, so that you can join the virtual conference. It's gonna be great. So super excited about that. We start every day and night. We start every day and night on this program with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book has been what we have used to help get us through this. Our good morning today, for those of you that were not with us at the top of the program, was have a good morning. No pressure, though. Our good night tonight is, have a good night, everyone. Oh, have a good night. Everyone is counting on you. Sweet dreams. No pressure, though, right? No pressure. Look at the graphics on that one. The scared person in bed. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to provide you the latest and greatest information on everything that's happening so I can get all of us to the other side of this. All the resources I talk about, everything that we do here is live here in the NARTS Facebook group every night, live at 8 o'clock Eastern. The videos and the resources get copied over to the page. You're not alone running this store. You're not alone running this store. and narts.org/resalestrong. narts.org/resalestrong has all the resources, including the links to the videos. You'll find them all there. And that'll help get us all, every business owner we know, they're all there by noon the next day. And that helps get the whole world to the other side here. And that's what we're all about. We're saving businesses, we're saving lives, and we're giving dreams and hope, and we're finding answers for people. If you have a question, if you don't know the answer to it, if you're concerned about something with your business, just reach out to me. Email me, Neil, Neil, at ECIstores.com. Neil at ECIstores.com. Make sure you include your phone number so I can give you a call back, and I am slowly working on getting caught up. I should be caught up this weekend, I hope. We'll get everybody caught up, and I do call everybody back. Because more importantly than anything is to know that you, and you, but most especially you, are not alone running this store. I got to go get ready for QVC at 9 o'clock, guys. You have a great night. I will see you tomorrow at 8.